A heretic in Christianity is one who differs with mainstream Christian doctrine. From the Greek word heresis, which meant to choose, a heretic was someone who differed with theology that was orthodox, which meant the righteous or correct opinion. Someone who was labeled a heretic was excommunicated, persecuted, and in many cases, executed by both the Catholic and Protestant churches. Charges of heresy incited the Catholic Crusades, Inquisition, and the European Wars of Religion. The famous astronomer Galileo Galilei was condemned as a heretic by the Church for his heliocentric views, for which he had to recant and spend the rest of his life under house arrest. So the charge of heresy by the Church was not to be taken lightly. One such heretic in the early Church was a Cyrenaic priest by the name of Arius, who lived in the 4th century. Arius taught that Jesus was created by God the Father and therefore was subordinate to him. This teaching caused a huge controversy at the time in the Christian world and prompted the Council of Nicaea. At the Council of Nicaea, it was debated whether Jesus was equal to God the Father, or he was created by God the Father and therefore subordinate to him. Those who argued against Arius, that Jesus is equal to God the Father, eventually won the debate, and Arius' views were declared heretical. Arius was exiled, his writings were burned, and it was declared that anyone who was found owning his writings was to be punished by death. So the view that Jesus is equal to God the Father became the orthodox theology in the Church. But what side of the debate would Jesus have fallen on? Would he have been an Arian heretic, or part of the Orthodox Church? So let's look at what the New Testament tells us what Jesus believed about himself and his relationship with God the Father. In a number of instances in the Gospels, Jesus is found to be praying to God the Father. If Jesus was praying to God the Father, that means that he thought that God the Father was greater than him. That would make Jesus a heretic. When talking about when the end will happen, he says that neither the angels of heaven nor the Son knows, only the Father knows. If the Son doesn't know and only the Father knows, that means the Father is greater than the Son. That would make Jesus a heretic. On the night that Jesus was betrayed, he prayed to God the Father that he should remove this cup from him. If he needed to ask God the Father to remove the cup from him, that means that he himself did not have the power or authority to remove it himself. That is because he believed that God the Father is greater than him. That would make Jesus a heretic. According to Luke, while Jesus was on the cross, he asked God the Father to forgive those who crucified him. Why didn't Jesus forgive them himself? That is because he believed that he himself did not have the power or authority to forgive them, and so therefore he asked God the Father to forgive them. That is because he believed that the Father was greater than him. That would make Jesus a heretic. According to Matthew, after the resurrection, Jesus tells his disciples that all authority has been given to him. If he is equal to God the Father, why would he need to be given authority? Didn't he always have it? That is because this authority belonged to God the Father and had to be given to Jesus. That is because God the Father is greater than Jesus. That would make Jesus a heretic. According to John, Jesus tells his disciples that they should be glad that he's going to the Father, because the Father is greater than I. Now he has spoken the blasphemy with his own mouth. That would make Jesus a heretic. Again in John, after Jesus' resurrection, he tells his disciples that I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. Jesus is declaring that God the Father is God over him. This certainly means that God the Father is greater than Jesus. So Jesus has spoken blasphemy yet again. That would make Jesus a heretic. In the Gospel of Mark, a man calls Jesus good teacher. Jesus rebukes the man by saying, "Why do you call me good? No one is good except God alone." Jesus is clearly showing that God the Father is greater than him. He has spoken blasphemy from his mouth yet again. That will make Jesus a heretic.